Hey, Kyle Barton here. For those of y'all that follow me, you know I've been working on some jigs, hopefully to make it easier to drill mortises and legs for stretchers, as well as posts for armrests. So I've been working on this, and I've come up with what I think is pretty much a final version of the jig. I still need a name for it, but anyway, thought I'd show you a little bit about what I've come up with. So let me show you what I've come up with. So here's the jig, pretty much assembled as you would use it. So we have a base here. This base is drilled out and threaded, and that gives the threaded rod here range of motion. Has an end bearing here. This is basically where your drill extension will fit through. As you can see, this moves around. And it's built to have spinning objects in here. It's built to have a spinning shaft run through it. So this gives you a good range of motion, so that when you put it in the leg mortise, you basically have to just point this in the general direction or general neighborhood or a little outside the neighborhood of the other leg. And as this rotates, you'll be able to lock in perfectly with the angle needed based on the height. So, so this is basically it. Now this taper here, that is at a 6 degree, so that's for 6 degree leg mortise or post mortise. And then one of the things that's kind of unique about these is these bearings are made for very fine work. So the thread is a very fine thread. It's a 1/2 inch by 20. So that gives you, with these jam nuts here, able to do some micro adjustments. Now, Windsor chairs do have a lot of room for variance, so it may not be needed, but you can really precisely dial in the height of the mortise. So with these jam nuts that secure it, that locks it in. Now, one of the drawbacks to that is that it takes a lot of revolutions to move this thing an inch or 2 inches or whatnot you might need. So to alleviate that, in the bottom here, put in a little square drive screw, so you can just put a drill in here and run it up and down to get your gross adjustments, and then hand turn it to get your fine adjustments. Then you just secure it with these jam nuts, and they just have to be just tight. It doesn't have to really, you don't want to really crank down on it. Just get it tight. And that's basically it. So how this works is simply, it just fits into the leg mortise here. This is at the height of the mortise for this leg, not at the height of this mortise. It's at the height of the mortise of the leg that you're replacing it with, the stretcher mortise. And you put your drill extension in there and drill it. So let's do a little demo on that. All right, so I have the jig into leg mortise. Just give it a couple of taps to secure it. Now the first thing we do is, I've already marked the height of these mortises, so whatever your plans call for, whether you're marking it from the bottom of the seat or you're leveling it and marking it up from the ground or whatever. So just whatever method, but I've already marked the height of the mortises. And I've set this, set the jig to the height of the mortise for these front legs. This is a basic seat blank for a shield seat. I just haven't cut in the little scoops here. But this will work. By the way, these are repurposed legs from a failed prototype. So if you see some cut-off stretchers in them, that's what that's from. I just returned them to fit more of this chair. So these are my best turnings, but they'll work for this demonstration purpose. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the center mark for this mortise here. We got the height marked, but we don't have the center of the leg marked. So what I've come up with is, this is your drill extension here. So if you put in the back end of your drill extension, the part that goes into the drill, and I've come up with this little centering jig. Now, this is one thing I think I can make some improvements on, and but it works right now, and the final version of this will be relatively the same. So you put that in here. It has a groove on top for a pencil. You get this V kind of going in the same orientation as your leg, so it's going this way. Simply put your pencil in here and mark. And there you go. X marks the spot right there in the center of the leg. So simply take this off, and then we'll get set up for the actual drilling. All right, before we start drilling, just want to let you know what I've done is I've taken these large calipers. I forgot to show that just to set the height, and it might work better for this. So this just helps me set the height right there. So it's about halfway in there, about halfway of the diameter of this rod. So, and that's all I've done basically to set the height. I did go ahead and take a little awl and put a little tiny hole there, so the brad point has a place to sit. And then I'm using Sean Murphy's depth stop here. So let's get to it. Just put that in there. Now, because this is all held in place, you're at the correct angle from the front leg to the back leg. This is at the height of the mortise for the front leg. You're drilling into the rear leg. The only thing you have to worry about now is just applying pressure and stopping. So basically I just hold this leg just to keep it sturdy, and just go. Alright, so let's check the depth and see if we got what we're looking for at the top of the mortise. And I'm a little short, so I need to adjust this depth stop back a little bit and just drill a little bit more. Okay, I made that adjustment, and you can then just be very, very careful and feed this right back in. Okay, hold this again and let's go. Alright, press that down there and do a check. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So, the way this is now set up is I can simply take the jig out of this, go to the front leg, drill those. Then, once I have that done, I can adjust the height of that to the mortise of the rear legs, and then drill the mortises for the front, and you're done with your stretchers. I think it's much simpler, much more accurate, and there's a lot less setup, and you don't have to measure any angles or do all that kind of stuff, and then take the legs out of the chair, put them in another fixture. One of the things that always scares me is when I'm drilling mortises into legs, when they're outside of the, when they're removed from the seat, is drilling at the wrong angle. So drilling my mortise at this angle when it should have been drilled at this angle. This kind of eliminates that worry. So anyway, I'll have another video where I'll go a little bit more in depth about the actual jig, but hopefully this will give you a brief idea of how it works, and we'll see if it's right for you.